What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the pre-match build-up for Brentford versus Manchester United. It is at the gtech Community Stadium. Let's see how heavy Ruben Amorim has rotated. You can see the team on your screen, not the screen on your team. That wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. You can see the team on your screen, on your right-hand side right here, which I think is a very, very interesting side and a side that I did not anticipate at all. So let's just go through it together. I think there's a couple of interesting names in there. Bayern, first and foremost, starting in goal. I thought he would have gone with goalkeeper Onana. Goalkeeper Onana, that's like saying Pastor Fred or something. I thought he would have gone with Onana in net, to be honest with you, because I thought rhythm is a thing with goalkeepers, surely. Going into Bilbao, or maybe he just wants him to have a clear mindset. Did the same thing with, what was it, Newcastle game? Rested him for that, and then brought him back into the team on Thursday night. Maybe that is the key from not to make mistakes, God knows, but at this point. But Bayern starts in net, and obviously Amorim said after the Bilbao game, you know, whoever is starting on Sunday, they do have an opportunity to get into the team on Thursday. How true that is, I'm not entirely sure, because I think even if Bayern has a phenomenal performance, I don't think he's going to risk, even though we are 3-0 up, I still don't think he will risk the goalkeeper situation. So, interested to see him. We haven't seen him for a bit. I don't know what injury it was that he had, but obviously he's back now, he's fit and he's available and he's ready to go, which is good news. We can rest the goalkeeper. Then the back three is a really interesting combination of like youth, talent and experience. Fredrickson, who we saw against Wolves, had a really good game. Haven't watched much of him before that. I hadn't watched much of him before that game, but watching him, did everything to a really, really good standard, 7 or 8 out of 10. Like on the ball, he was pretty composed and comfortable and made the correct decisions, which is a massive thing with a young centre back coming into the team. You want them to almost be the experienced player. Like Yoro plays above his age. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Fredrickson, I'm excited to see. I thought he was really, really good and definitely deserves it, by the way, as well. Deserves another start. Different kind of opposition that you're coming up against, different kind of threats. And we'll get on to Visser and Berno a little bit later. But, yeah, I'm happy with that. Matthias de Ligt starting his first game, which is interesting. Does that mean he could potentially start on Thursday night? Or will he go with Maguire again? Or will he play with Maguire on Thursday? Because we know, I think a lot of us in this kind of community agree that when de Ligt is in the side, we are a better team. So you want him in that team. So maybe he is prepping him for a full. And then what will be the back three? Will it be, I don't know, will it be de Ligt, Yoro, Maguire as your back three on Thursday? And then you push Mazraoui into right wing back? Or does Ahmad play wing? I don't know. But I'm just trying to piece the puzzles together. Do you know what I'm saying? Luke Shaw, left-sided centre-half. Again, another 90 for him. He hasn't broken down just yet. You know, he's had his MOT. And he's fit and available and ready to play, which is huge for us at this stage of the season because regardless, whatever anyone wants to say about Luke Shaw, he is one of our best players when he's fit and ready to go. And I even like him as a wing-back. I think when he was pushing on against Bournemouth when he went down to 10 men, which is easy to say when someone's down to 10 men, when he was pushing on, he looked really, really good. I've almost forgot my glasses. What am I doing? There we go. I was wondering why I was stuttering over my words and stuff. I didn't have my glasses on. Jesus. So, yeah, let us know your thought on that back line. We'll get into the midfield and attack shortly. Stephanie saying Chido full debut for me. Andy Williams saying Shaw captain. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, the age range of players on there. Chido, Garnacho. Chido's 18, Garnacho's 20. Mount's 25. Amas is 18. Ugate's 23. Mainu's 20. Dorgu's 21, 22. De Ligt's 24. Fredrickson's like 18. So, yeah, the fact that Luke Shaw's been at United for 10 years, that doesn't surprise me at all. UTFR, Nath is what we call him, not UTFR, Nath. He's put it in brackets now. Garnacho really needs to be on the bench. Yeah, I am surprised he's not had a rest, to be honest. But one thing I've always said with that front three is, you know, regardless whoever it is playing, even if you go with if an Eriksen's instead of Mount, or a Højlund instead of Chido, there will always be Garnacho or Ahmad, let's say, because they are the only player that offers a direct threat running 1v1. If you take that out of the team, you put Eriksen in instead of Garnacho, it becomes very static for me a little bit. And you don't have that threat, that runner, which is important in a lot of games. So, yeah, I do agree with the Garnacho comment, but I think it's hard to rest him when he is the only direct player. And I think the rest he'll probably get is Garnacho will probably play 45 minutes and then Ahmad will come on. But I'll get into the attack in a second. Rayanator, I love this team. Brentford hopefully will be somewhat tired after playing on Thursday as well. Excited to see what Chido and Mount can bring. Yeah, that's the thing in it. Like, people are looking at this game and they're saying like, oh, no one cares about it. You know, we've got Bilbao on Thursday and etc. etc. But I actually do. I'm looking at players in this team and I'm like, okay, a lot of these players want to push into the first team, and they've got a massive opportunity tonight against a really good Brentford team who are in really good form, which I'll also speak about later on. So I actually think it's exciting. When was the last time Manu played a full 90? Can't remember it. When was the last time Mason Mount played a full 90? Can't remember it. Chido's never started before. Amas looks promising. De Ligt's back. Frederiksen was good against Wolves. Dorgu on the opposite side where he's had a couple of good games. So I think there is some exciting things to look at in this team. And with the wing backs, I think it was it against Wolves again where Dorgu, he put like 2-3 good crosses in, kind of in-swingers from the right-hand side, and no one got onto the end of it. I think if you see that again today, the likes of Chido with his positioning, I think he will get on the end of him. Mason Mount, everyone knows I'm a fan of him as a player, but I think for the past, God knows, since he's come back, he's not done enough to say, right, I should be starting in this team. It's all good and well and getting the yellow card when you're coming on and you're tenacious and you press really, really well, which he does. He is a really good pressure of the ball. But what does that mean if when you actually get the ball, you don't do those things? You don't make those incisive passes. You're not scoring goals. It means nothing, does it? Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you can just get someone in like a Dan James to have a similar impact. So, yeah, Mount, I want him to step up today. I want a goal or an assist from him. Otherwise, you really are going to lose the fans. And I've been a massive supporter of him, but you will. Harry Amas on the left. Again, another interesting battle. I don't know who. I need to have a look at Brentford's team to discuss kind of tactics and what players he'll be dealing with. But with that experience behind him and Luke Shaw, and a lot of people are calling Harry Amas kind of a Luke Shaw regen. So, yeah, he's got that experience behind him, and I'm sure he'll guide him through the game. And then the midfield of Manu and Ugarte, I can't say we've seen that many times. Someone reported actually on Twitter that it was Casemiro starting in the midfield, and when I first saw it, I was like, he's definitely not starting Cas. Cas has been so incredibly good in the Europa League. He's definitely getting a rest. And the same thing with Bruno. So, yeah, when I saw it, I was like, surely he's not starting Casemiro. But, yeah, it is Ugarte and Manu. Ugarte, I can absolutely promise you, will come off in the 60th minute, 50th, 60th minute, because he's another one who was actually really important against Bilbao. If you look at the tactical assessment after the game, when we broke it down, we didn't go into it too much detail, but what he was doing was we kind of have this new like 3-1-6 attacking mode. We have the 3 centre-backs, of Casemiro sitting, and what Ugarte was doing, he's venturing on a little bit, getting between the lines, with Bruno and Garnacho drifting inside as well, and we was overloading the middle area against Bilbao, and that's where the goal, Bruno's second goal, I think it is, where Ugarte flicks it. If you watch that pattern, he was dragging players out, and it's interesting when you combat that against like man-to-man marking systems and how it all works. And I don't have my UEFA B licenses or anything like that, but it was just something I picked up on, that Ugarte was starting to play more as like one of the 10s, basically. He was driving forward, so slightly different role for him. And if you actually look at Ugarte's record, I think, actually, let me pull it up. Sorry, I've got a protein yogurt here that I really need to eat before it goes weird. Sorry, that looks horrible, didn't it? Ugh. Sorry, people just tuning in. Yeah, so his last couple of games, two goals, 5 assists in total at United. But I think like 3 or 4 of them have come recently, haven't they? Let's have a look. Yeah, so 2 assists against Athletic Bilbao. Obviously, got the flick on for Casemiro. He got a goal against Lyon, and then assist against Lyon as well. So he's starting to see a bit of attacking output from Ugarte, which anyone who's spoken about him when he came from PSG, the very credible journalist was speaking about him, saying he gets a nosebleed in the finals at third, basically, and he's not great. But he is starting to improve in that element a little bit. Manu back in the midfield is also interesting for me. I don't think Amarin sees his long-term future as a midfielder. Maybe he can develop into that. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Paul Scholes, who moved from, basically a striker in the early stages to like an attacking 10, to then to a back like an 8, and then to like a 6. you saw the evolution of that midfielder. So I'm not saying the same can't happen with Mainu, but it doesn't seem like Ruben Amorim likes him in that position for whatever reason. His athleticism, his recovery runs. And none of those two players in the middle in particular, they don't have that range of passing, which is so important in Ruben Amorim's system. When you have the wing-backs that are so high and wide, and you do try to create these central overloads, they're the ones that are the ball's always on. So when you have a player... like Paul Scholes was someone I just mentioned there, for example, would be perfect. Who gets the ball, people are pressing him, they keep it ticking, press resistant, and then if the ball needs to go into the left wing back, ping on a dime instantly. Those kind of players that you need. Mainu hasn't really got that. We've seen it a couple of times. Even Ugarte a couple of times has done it, but they haven't really got that range in the locker. It's more Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes who can do that. So that's something I would keep an eye on. Where it might become a little bit stagnated in midfield. But Mainu's someone who can definitely take it under pressure and dribble past one or two. We've seen that before. But the range of passing is something I would be worried a little bit about in the midfield. Because I think Brentford, the way they set up, they have 3 midfielders and almost 2 split strikers. So, they're not going to get much space to work with centrally. And then you've got Garnacho, Chido and Mount, who, again, I can probably guarantee you they've never played together before. But Garnacho, I touched on before, I don't need to go into it again, but he's the direct threat. That's why he's playing in the team. He'll probably come off for Ahmad. Chido and Mount, again, it's about relationships on the pitch, innit? And with them not playing together before, not knowing each other's runs, this is something that Ryan Giggs picked up on when he did the interview with Rio Ferdinand, that whenever he played with Yorkie, Cole, Solskjaer, whoever it was, he knew 9 times out of 10 when he's putting a cross in, or when he's drilling it, cutting it back, whatever it is, he knew where that striker would be because he had played so many games with him, and the attackers were really intelligent. So yeah, that connection on the pitch is going to be slightly missing, but I think that's enough at the front. Like, you've got to take your opportunity. Chido's been waiting for a start. Obviously, he's got minutes against the likes of Tottenham and a few other games against Arsenal as well, I think it was. But this is your start now. I'm not saying if he scores 2 goals today, he's going to start against, well, he can't start against Bilbao anyway because he's not registered in the team. But you've got, 4 Premier League games left from today. You can start pushing your way into the Premier League side at least and start showing what you're worth. And then you go into pre-season with good merit with the coach. So Chido's the one I'm looking towards tonight, and I'm really, really interested to see how he gets on, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. Alex saying, I just realised Bruno isn't playing. Is he okay? Yeah, he needs to be rested, doesn't he? I think that's one where Bruno was probably like, yeah, I'm starting today, and Amorim's gone. Listen, mate, get an ice bath, get a rest. We are going to need you in that semi-final. We're pretty much almost 2 feet in the final. We're nearly there, so you can't afford to be risking players like that. And I think players like Bruno, Ahmad, Casemiro, even Maguire, I think they're going to have a massive say in this final Europa League campaign. So, yeah, the fact that they're rested doesn't surprise me at all. And Mason Mount, again, I've touched on, he needs a better performance. And we need more than pressing. We need an output. We need an assist. We need a goal. Just be like a danger on the ball. It doesn't look like defenders are scared when he's on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's my thoughts anyway on the side. Please do, if you are just joining, smash like of the video, subscribe to the channel. We're on 14,263 subs at the minute, so if you can subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. In terms of tactics and systems, we know that, it's hard to say in this game, to be honest, but we know both managers play a similar kind of system. Now, Brentford are a lot more direct and physical than us, and long balls and switches of play to the wing-backs and when there's overloads on certain sides. So I think we'll struggle a little bit with the physicality today, just of their team, just the way they play. They are, they can really make it brutal, especially at home. They've got a really good record at home, and I'll get into the record in general form in a minute. Is really, really good. In fact, I'll get into it now because I think it's something important to mention. So they have recently beat, right, because I had a look at the last 10 games. They recently beat Forest, Brighton and Bournemouth, and drew to Arsenal and Chelsea. So they are in a really rich vein of form at the minute. Visser, for them, one of the attackers, 17 goals and 3 assists. And Bruno's got 18 goals and 6 assists. They are killing it up top for them at the moment. So them two are going to be an absolute handful, which is why maybe he's not gone with Lindelof at the back, why he's gone with De Ligt, Shaw and Fredrickson. I think that's probably enough. But them two, they can cause anyone problems. anyone problems. So if they're going to get anything from today, them two will have a say in it. Really, really tricky customers. It doesn't matter what centre backs they're coming up against, whether it's Van Dijk, Canate, Saliba, Gabriel. They've caused all of those centre backs issues. So they are really difficult to deal with. So that's just something I would keep an eye on today. Also, isn't it crazy? We live in a world where I'm pretty sure, I will double check it, but if Brentford win today, I think Brentford go 12 points above us. So we're on 39 points. Brentford are on 49 points. Yeah. 12 points above us. How crazy is that? Brentford. And I don't mean no disrespect to Brentford by that, because I actually think they are a good team. They've got a fantastic manager. And I don't mind them as a team, genuinely. But it is crazy, innit? Brentford, 12 points ahead of Manchester United in 2025. We need to change that narrative rapid next season. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. However, I will say it will be nice if I'm looking at the teams that are near that area, Brighton, Fulham, Aston Villa, I think it will be nice if Brentford can make it into Europe. And it's all going to depend on where Newcastle finish and City and what happens in the FA Cup final, and there's a lot of reliance on that, but it seems like it's going to go to 7th place. Brentford are 6 points behind Villa, I think it is. But obviously Brighton and Fulham dropped points, I think, over the weekend. So they can gain 3 points on them, and they'll be 3 points behind them. So there's a huge incentive for them, which we touched on in the preview. And if Thomas Frank got Brentford into Europe, that's a massive achievement. And I'm pretty sure they had back-to-back, not back-to-back like Ipswich, but they promoted from Division 2, right? They've done really well to become this kind of sustainable club in the Premier League. So for them to get into the Conference League or Europa League would be an amazing achievement. And I think Thomas Frank, people always speak about Areola and the job that he's done with Bournemouth and other clubs like Marco Silva at Fulham. What's his name? Herzler at Brighton. But I don't know why Thomas Frank doesn't get mentioned in that conversation. I think he's done an incredible job, genuinely, at Brentford. I think he's been really, really good. For the budget they have per season, again, this is something we touched on in the preview as well, just whilst I get a bite of this. Sorry. That's a bit too much of a big bite, that. It's just something I touched on as well. Their budget per year is around 30 to 40 million every summer. With not to mention the likes of selling, Ivan Toney and these kind of players. To work on that shoestring budget and to be mid-table and beating teams like I just mentioned, like Brighton, like Nottingham Forest, drawing with Arsenal, drawing with Chelsea, doing those kind of things, you have to be a really good coach. Because, let's face it, apart from Mberno and Visser, who have been incredible for him, are any of the other players amazing? Really? Norgard, Lewis Potter, Kiar, these, they're good standard players, but they're not, do you know what I mean? So he's getting the very best out of every single one of them. And his system is effective against a lot of teams. So I think he deserves a big job. Where he would he go to a Tottenham, potentially? I'm not sure what happens with Mberno and Visser. Will they get massive moves in the summer? Because there's a lot of interest. United have been linked with Mberno. I think Nottingham Forest actually put a bid in, didn't they, for Visser, like a 30 million bid that they turned down. So I could see one, maybe two of them both going in the summer if a decent offer comes in. And then it's about how they reinvest that money. Because if they don't do it properly, that's where they could slip up and drop back down the table. And that's what happens with some of the smaller clubs, unfortunately. Right, let's get into some stats then. Brentford have won just one of their last 12 meetings with Manchester United in all competitions. Drew 2, lost 9, a 4-0 win at home in August 2022. 10 of Manchester United's 12 Premier League goals against Brentford have come in the second half of games, with 3 of the last 5 coming after the 90th minute. United have won just 3 of their last 21 Premier League away games against London sides. Drew 5, lost 13, with all 3 of those victories coming against Fulham. And Brentford ended a run of 8 home Premier League games without a win, with a 4-2 victory over Brighton on the 19th of April. It was the 5th time they've scored 4 or more goals in a home league game against in 2024-25, which is the most in the season since 92. Yeah, they're flying at the minute, full of confidence, full of beans, and despite us having a heavily rotated team, they'll still be looking at this in a professional manner and thinking, we can go get a couple of goals today against a weakened United team. I think one would say. Garnacho on Brentford's just come out saying, we know it'll be a strong team. They have good goal scorers up front. We will try to do our best. At this point, the Europa League semi-final and then the final is the main focus. But a club like United, you have to try and win every game. We've got a good away result against Athletic Club. It's important for us to be in the final. The Premier League's important, but it's a difficult moment. Garnacho speaking before a game. Interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, this is where we're at, man. This is it's not the big leagues. It's not the Premier. I know everyone's written it off, but get your thoughts in. Any questions, feelings, thoughts on the game? Are you nervous? Do you think we'll smash them? Do you think Brentford are going to smash us? Who are you most excited to see in the team as well in terms of individuals? Like, who do you think is going to have a good game? Lumen saying, Nick, would you prefer all the youngsters line up? No. When me and Sam did the preview, I think Sam's team was heavily rotated. And I think that's what he was expecting, like Sekou Kone in the middle. A few other youngsters that were in the team as well, like heavily rotated. And I was like, I understand it because you want to rest certain players for it for Thursday night. But I also think as well, it doesn't do anyone any benefit or any goodwill if you go to Brentford today and get smashed because you've really heavily rotated a team and you're basically playing, the academy team against them. Don't do the players benefit, the youngsters who are trying to push into the team. It'll damage their confidence. The actual overall aura going into a game, you don't want to be going into a Thursday night important tie off the back of a 4-0 slapping against Brentford because the mood around the club, the media, everything like that would just be negative. So ideally, you want to go into this. I mean, with that team, I still think you could beat Brentford with that team. That's not a bad team at all, genuinely. I rate Fredrickson. I think he's a good youngster, but again, untested a lot. So, bear with that. De Ligt's a good defender. Shaw's got so much experience. Ugarte and Mainu in the midfield are, you'd say, bigger names and better talents than Brentford's midfield. Dorgu looks like an exciting wing back. Garnacho's an exciting player. Chido's an exciting player. And Mount is a very experienced player as well. So you should be going into that. Like, that's a decent team, and you think you should get a result against Brentford, or at least compete. Do you know what I mean? So, no, I wouldn't have gone with youngsters. Why Harry is not starting at the wing? Yeah, it's a good point, Junior. Great point. Ahmad should have started over Garnacho. Yeah, Ahmad will come on. Don't worry about that. And to be honest, if I was to make a bold prediction today, I don't usually do my predictions this early, but I think Ahmad will do something in this game, get a goal or assist, and then everyone will be calling for him. To start. Just a stat coming in here. CHIDO-OBI is the youngest player ever to start a Premier League match for Manchester United. Huh? Is that correct? Sure. I need to check. I need to research this. That don't sound right. Oh, is he still 17, Chido? He looks older than me. It's 18 on the 29th of November. Jesus, is he only 17? My God. I wanted to see who it was before that. The youngest player to start for United is Kobbie Mainoo, who made his first start against Liverpool on December the 17th at the age of 18. He was also United's youngest ever Premier League starter in that match. So, yeah, he's took the record off Kobbie there, which is something in it. A little feather in your cap if you want that. That's crazy. I didn't know. Did not know at all that he was the youngest player. I want to see our bench, by the way, because I haven't seen it. Where are we at? Come on. Where's the subs, man? No one put the subs out. Oh, there we go. Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Yoro, Casemiro, Fernandes, Eriksson, Ahmad, Højlund. I think Bruno, Ahmad, and maybe... I think a centre-back will come on because Ruben Amorim always brings on a centre-back. So maybe Yoro or Lindelof for a Fredrickson or Shaw or De Ligt, potentially. I think you'll see. I think Bruno and Ahmad definitely will have an impact on this game. If it's 0-0, 1-1, 70th minute, them two will come on and cause a storm. Guarantee it. Ruben Amorim's been speaking on the game. He said, I think it's important for us to perform And then again, I already talked about that in the last games. We had situations to win the game. If you look even the last game in the Europa League against Athletic, the big chance to the opponent was a little bit our fault, the way we build up. So we tried to do everything at the same point. We need to be focused, don't lose balls like we did against Bournemouth and Athletic. So I need small details we need to do better with creating. Yeah, our build-up from the back is fucking atrocious, isn't it? That's where the Bournemouth goal came from instantly. You had, who was it? It went from Onana to Shaw to Dorgu, press the life out of us, win it back, straight past to Semenyo. Semenyo bags it, and we're 1-0 down. So yeah, Shaw, Delit, Amas, Fredrickson, Dorgu, these kind of players, Ugarte or Mainu taking it off the back line as well. That's something to keep an eye out from, because I'm sure Thomas Frank has identified that, and he's like, listen, if you just press him ever so slightly, you're gonna win. Pat May, looking forward to seeing Chido. All they could do is give their all. Good luck, boys. I'm very excited to see Chido. I think he's going to score today. I do. I think he's going to score. You know, I don't mind these protein yogurts, but fucking hell, it's thick. So thick. Alright, I had to get that out of the way, because otherwise I was just, yeah. Philip 1980. Oh, that's a new name. I haven't seen that before. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, brother. Another one to watch out for, Kone. Great to see. Surprised he's not on the bench. Yeah, fucking hell, what a point that is. Why is Sekou Kone not on the bench? How have I not noticed that? Because Amrin said before the Athletic Club game, didn't he? We're bringing Sekou and Chido with us with the thought to start him on Sunday. So unless he's picked up an injury or something, or there's something that I've missed, why is he not starting? Not starting, but why is he not even on the bench? I was excited as well to see him. I'm a bit gutted about that, actually. Maz saying, looking forward to seeing the lads get a run out. Defeat or win, time on the pitch is valuable for the lads. Spot on. Alex saying, is that... I won't laugh at that, sorry. Just seen Alex's comment saying, is that cottage cheese? I see a lot of recipes with that slop these days. It's not, it's... Let me, imagine getting like a brand deal by it with Aldi. I don't want... It's one of them. Can you see it? Just a protein yogurt from Aldi. What I've done, right? I've had a transformation. And just bear with me for 2 minutes. I'll get back into the football. But, you know, when the penny drops sometimes, you just think, right, I need to lose weight. I need to go on a diet. And you get that itch and bug. And you start going gym. And that's the phase that I'm in at the minute. So, you might see an Instagram post or two from myself. Yeah, just bigging myself up because I'm dieting and stuff. So, yeah, protein. I'm literally just eating chicken, eggs, fish, veg, stuff like that. Like, I'm making 3 egg omelets in the morning, chicken and couscous with boiled eggs, like going really, really fine-tuning my diet, because I'm not going to say my weight on here, but, you know, I weighed myself and I was like, yeah. I don't know if we've got any fellow chubbies in the chat, but if you've ever been clothes shopping before, right, and you know what the lights are like in there, you know what I mean? You take things that you're like, oh, okay. You turn around, you look in the mirror, it's like, bang! You're like, whoa, what's going on here? And the lights and everything, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like a bit of a reality check, to be honest with you. Just checking the weight and find out what it was. I was like, yeah, I need to work on this. So, sign up to a gym, bought shitloads of healthy food, and just going mad with it. And just mentally, you feel better as well, innit? Like, when you're eating, I mean, I was getting in from work when I was working at Fives, coming home, and having, like, Chicago Town pizzas at 11 o'clock at night with chips and mayo and that, you know, and then you're waking up and you're feeling like fucking Gollum, and you're wondering why. It's because of that. I mean, what you put into your body is literally, you know, it's like if you're trying to run a car and you're putting fucking sunflower oil into it, it's not going to work, is it? Punch Paint, my guy, how are we, brother? I hope you're good, mate. Big up, Nick, absolute legend. Not sure how I feel about Shaw being skipper today. I get people going on about that, but who else would you give it to? That's my only... That's the question I would throw back to everyone else. Who else would you give it to? There's a lot of youngsters on that pitch. Shaw's by far the most experienced player and has been at United for nearly a decade. So, I have no qualms with it. I'm sure when Bruno comes on, he'll pass him over the armband. The thing I worry more about today is the the connections on the pitch throughout. Like, a lot of these players haven't played together before, so things that we usually see in a game, like first touch, passes being slightly overhit or underhit, just movement on the pitch, finding players. That's the things that I think we're going to struggle with today, because these players are not familiar with each other's game, a lot of them. Philip saying, resting players for Thursday is a good decision. We need players, all guns blazing. I'm so excited for Thursday. Is there anyone in the chat who thinks we can fumble Thursday? Just a quick question to throw out there, because I'm intrigued to see. Alex saying, cut processed out, look to shove fruit and veg into meals to keep... Yeah, the processed foods, I mean, it's so bad. It goes without saying, innit? It's so bad for you. You don't realise, like, I have an app on my phone, which is the My Fitness app, which I'm sure people have used before. But when you do, like, your calorie counting, and when you add foods into it, and even things like syrups in your coffee, or, like, tomato sauce, mayonnaise, the amount of calories in them is just crazy. You're like, yeah, it's mad. So I'm very, very diligent on that now, about certain things that I'm putting into my body. I'm super clean out. Well, I don't know what's it called. It's not colonoscopy, is it? That's where you have your poo cleaned out or whatever it is. I don't know. Don't know what it's called. I don't know what the word is. It's obvious I'm clearly not a fitness guru, whatever you call it. So I'm just trying to be healthy and thing. No, not if we play like we did versus Leon and Bilbao the first leg. Yeah, I'm. Everyone's said we're in the final already, and I like the positivity and I like the happiness about that, and I'm really, really excited for the final, which is probably going to end up being against Spurs in it, if we're honest. But I do worry about that as well if we play Spurs. However, I think James Maddison is out for them. I think he's got a knee injury. He had a scan the other day. I'm not sure what the results of that was. In fact, let's find that out, just to scratch that itch on my brain. Maddison injury news. I know Bergval is out. Should be. Yeah, I think he's injured again. So Maddison could miss the final. Bergval's definitely going to miss the final. I think Solanke picked up a knock as well. Son's still out for them. So that's something to hold on to, I suppose. But who knows? Spurs could bottle it against Bodo on Thursday. We could bottle it against Bilbao on Thursday. It could end up being Bilbao and Bodo. That sounds like Frodo and Bilbo, doesn't it? Bilbao and Bodo. Bilbo and Frodo. Sounds very similar. The Lord of the Rings final, if one will. I wanted to smash the TV when Maddison did the dart celebration. Yeah, he's one of those characters, isn't he, Maddison? Some people don't like him. Some people take to him. He can be a little bit frosty as well. I remember, obviously, with the Roy Keane situation, but I don't mind him. I think he's a really, really good player. I think he can be inconsistent at times. He has purple patches for like 2 or 3 months where everyone starts comparing him to Bruno's and De Bruyne's of this world, and then he just disappears for 2 months. Don't really hear much about him, and then he does it again. I think Son's the same thing. Son Heung-min is a fantastic player, but he has purple patches where he's really good, and then he dips, and then he's really good, and then he dips. And I mean, Rashford was the same. You just get it. You know, consistency in football is something that isn't spoken about enough. Someone who's doing it like Bruno Fernandes consistently at this level is so impressive. Obviously, he does have the odd dip, but in comparison to other players, I mean, Bruno is ruthless. And again, I can see him coming on and doing something today. And at the minute, what's he got on? 18 goals, 17 assists in all competitions or something like that? Let's have a look. 19 goals and 18 assists. So if he scores today, 20 goals, gets an assist, 19 assists. I mean, it's just crazy stats, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. He's played, is that correct? Really? EFL, FA Cup, Europa League. 4,491 minutes this season. That is mad. Him and Dallo have played the most minutes, haven't they? So hopefully we start to narrow that down today. Yeah, I have a worry, like a subconscious worry about Bruno Fernandes. Because the amount of minutes that he plays, I feel like his body's going to start breaking down at some point. So I hope moments like this now where we are in the Europa League final, or we're about to be in the Europa League final, sorry, I'm not doing it myself there, that we can deliver that for him. Because even still, you look at, like, he's been at United, and it's been probably the shittest time during United's period in terms of league position, where we're finishing 8th under Eric Ten Hag. Probably going to finish 15th this season, which is obviously horrendous. But even whilst he's been here, you're going to win a Carabao Cup, an FA Cup, and if you win the Europa League, it's the Europa League as well. So it's not a bad cabinet to have, considering it's our banter period. I mean, we can go on and win 3 trophies in 3 seasons, which is just crazy. It just shows football and the difference between tournament football and league football is way off. And I don't want people to get that kind of twisted, because we did a similar thing with Eric Ten Hag when, I'm not saying Amarin is the same as Ten Hag, but we won an FA Cup with Ten Hag and everyone was lost in the glory of that and beating City in the final, which was amazing, obviously. And I was one of those people. But you have to think long term. Like, if we go into next season and he's, you know, had a window to recruit and he's bought in a lot of players and we're still near the bottom of the table, you know, and losing, conceding 3 or 4 goals to your Brightons and Bournemouths and these kind of teams, you need to look at it and assess it. And you can't just use we won the Europa League, so, you know, we're back in the Champions League now. It's all well and good being back in the Champions League. Are you going to compete in the Champions League, this team, at the minute? You know, I know obviously we had a relatively decent performance against, against Bilbao. I know, but then look at the Lyon game. We're very lucky in that, very, very lucky in that Lyon game. When you start playing the likes of, you know, Madrids and PSGs and these kind of teams, I mean, it's just a world of difference, isn't it? You look at PSG's attack, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, the problems they've all been causing, I think we'd really struggle with that. So it's all well and good being in there, and obviously financial for us, it's really important. And if you want to attract certain players like a Gyökeres or whatever, obviously it's important being in the Champions League. But I worry how we're going to compete. And look how shocking our campaign was. Predominantly down to Onana. But in Europe, I mean, we finished bottom of the table with Galatasaray, Copenhagen and Bayern Munich. Fucking horrendous. Punch Paint saying Amas and Shaw connection is like Obi-Wan and Anakin. Bruno getting a little rest is mint. And I'd be interested to see how we move the ball around and keep our composure. We're going all the way unbeaten. Our name is on it. Question for you guys. Do we get a golden trophy like Arsenal did when they won the Premier League as the invincible team? Do you want a golden Europa League trophy? Does that have a ring to it? Or are we then hypocrites for asking for that? Because I have terrored Arsenal before, saying you got a golden trophy, you had 12 draws in that. But I kind of, the sound of the golden Europa League trophy has got something that, you know, it kind of piques my interest a little bit. It'd be nice to see that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you do get a golden trophy or anything, but be mad, wouldn't it? Imagine we go all the way unbeaten. Right, let's see if there's any more quotes coming out from the manager. So there's a stat actually coming out from Opta Joe, which I think is interesting. I mean, Manchester United just tweeted out saying youth, courage, success. With an average age of 22 years and 270 days, Manchester United starting 11 versus Brentford is the 3rd youngest any side has ever named for the Premier League match, behind Middlesbrough versus Fulham in May and Arsenal versus Portsmouth in May 2009. That's crazy, isn't it? Average age of 22. At least there's a future there. Do you know what I mean? At least there's something in that. That's one thing with all the negativity and the clouds over the club and people not being happy, which is all warranted, right? The one thing you can say is the talent, what Carrington are cooking up at the minute. I mean, there is some talented players in there. The Fletcher brothers are very interesting. Morehouse looks like a talent. Chido looks like he's going to be some player. Aiden Heaven looks like a really good centre-back for £1 million. I know some have been bought, some academy players. Fredrickson is playing today, looks promising. Amas looks good. Sekou Kone, there's a lot of hype about him. Like, you can go through this. There's probably about, I mean, and we're not even speaking about players who are still relatively young, who have come through the academy, in Garnacho and Mainu. Do you know what I mean? So, low, super young talent that we brought in. And we've got Diego Leon, who we brought in from Paraguay as well, who looks exciting, explosive wing-back. So, yeah, that's one thing I think they are getting well. Shaw bringing up the average. Yeah, all on his own. Because there isn't a player over 25, is there? Apart from Shaw. Oh, wait, Bayern actually might be. I don't even know how old Bayern is. Let's have a look. I'm guessing like 28 or something. 27. Yeah. So Shaw, what's Luke Shaw now 30? 29. Yeah, so Bayern Shaw 27, 29, but the rest, I mean, Delit's 25, innit, I think. Oh, shit. Yeah, 25 years old, which is mad considering he's captained Ajax, played at Juventus, Bayern Munich, and United already at the age of 25. My God, what a learning curve that is. Talk about experience and being a centre back. Who knows what it takes? Ruben Amorim speaking to Sky Sports on today's lineup. The game isn't on Sky today, is it? I'm pretty sure it's not on TV, is it? So I think everyone knows what that means. Let's have a look. No, it's Brighton and Newcastle and Chelsea and Liverpool. We've got Brentford United, West Ham, Tottenham as well. Bet Tottenham lose that game. Bet you. Sorry, but yeah, Ruben Amorim speaks to Sky Sports on today's lineup. It's really hard because we want to be improving the table in this moment. I think everyone can understand our choice. Sounds a bit defeatist, doesn't it? I don't mind the team though. I thought he was going to go a little bit weaker. Genuinely. Just back on Chido though as well, just something that I forgot to mention before. I think the age profile of players now that you're starting to see that are, it's getting younger in it in terms of debutants and trust. You look at Lamine Yamal, who arguably, top 3 players in the world at the minute, could win a Ballon d'Or at the age of 17. It's fucking insane. I mean, it's unheard of. Unheard of. Youngsters to be that good at his age. Obviously, there was a lot of hype around R9 at the time. I weren't really watching football as much at that point. But everything you read and see, what he was doing, obviously, was ridiculous. Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, you got examples like that. Kylian Mbappe. But what Lamal's doing, Champions League semi-finals, scoring goals like that, and, making assists and doing what he's doing is just insane. So the measure now for young players coming in, they're just fearless. A lot of these players coming, they just don't care. They just put me on the pitch and watch me do the business. And I can't fathom that, me as a person who's, when you remember, if you go back and cast your minds back to when you were 17 years old, just think about it right now for 30 seconds, what you was doing at the age of 17. I'll be completely transparent with you. I was in Eccles College, failing media studies, smoking weed. That's what I was doing at the age of 17. And you've got Lamine Yamal, who is on course to win a Ballon d'Or, maybe a Champions League and a league title at 17. Mad. Absolutely mad. I mean, we've got a young talent coming through the academy at United called JJ Gabriel. I think it is. Who looks super. I mean, he's playing way above his age range as well. He looks exciting. Like, he's one who could come through 16, 17. Like, it's just changing completely. The youngsters coming through, I mean, they just don't care anymore, do they? They're just absolutely fearless, and I love it. I love it. We need to focus a lot on our young players. This is from Amorim. For me, it's not a massive game for CHIDO-OBI. I know it's important for him, but I don't want a lot of pressure on him. He's played really well in minutes against Wolverhampton. I feel he's ready to cope with the demands of the Premier League. Let's see. Let's see what he's about. It'd be so nice for him to score today, wouldn't it, Chido? I'd love that. And I think he's got into some really good moments, Chido. He's had a couple of opportunities. He did it against Arsenal, and he did it against... Who did he come on against recently? Is it Bournemouth? Like, those toe pokes that are going near the top corner, and it's been tipped over the bar. Like, you're starting to see more and more traits of him. Yeah, I like him for what I've seen from him. I think he looks like, I mean, when he starts to develop at the age 20, 21, he looks like he's going to be some player in, like from a physical, but he can already hold defenders off in a minute when you watch him closely. So to think like he's 17 now, starting the game for United, can only be good things, right? Punch saying the future's bright for us. When I was 17, I was getting arrested for criminal possession of marijuana and working on my rap career. It's not too dissimilar for me, to be fair. I had a stint in rap. I was a rapper for 4 or 5 years, I think, making music, and then just realised, just not cut out for it, and then so we've got something in common there, Punch. Taha saying, isn't Chido a Hale end product? What do you mean by that? Elaborate a little bit for me, please. I couldn't even cook at 17, and Lamal's cooking everyone. Alex. Love that, Alex. Spot on. I still can't cook now, to be honest. I'm shocking at cooking. The only thing I can cook, eggs, chicken, breakfast. That's it. You ask me to cook like a roast dinner or, a complex pasta dish or something. It's just, not happening. Shocking. I'll burn your toast for you, mate. That's it. So if you can cook now, Alex, at least you've made progress. That's one thing I'll say. I can do a banging hot dog. How about that? Sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get into some predictions. So, as always, when we do these pre-match build-ups live, we always have score predictions and things to keep an eye on in this game. And I want to hear everyone's who's in the chat, if you can, if you have access to keyboard or you're on your phone, tablet, wherever it is. I'm thinking of 4 things to happen because I had a couple of things on there, but obviously certain players aren't starting. So, I will go with... yeah. I'll go... Luke Shaw to get a yellow card. Visser to score or assist. You know what? I'm going Delit to score, you know. Brentford to win 2-1. Brentford to win 2-1. Visser to score or assist. Shaw yellow card. Delit to score. Bit of a mad one. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. Sue me. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going with, people, in the chat. Let me know yours. I'm going to put me, not Akko, me bet on shortly. I probably won't die. That's my cooking level now. Well, I mean, we'll take it, innit? We'll take it. If you're not going to give me Salmonella, happy days, mate. Happy days. That's better than, what, 25, 30% of the world? So, you know, is what it is. We put a poll up at the start of the show saying what you're most excited to see. Chido with a whopping 76%, Kone with 10%, even though he's not in the team, Amas with 7%, and Fredrickson with 7%. So I think we know the obvious one there. Hopefully he gets a goal. Hopefully Mount gets an assist. I mean, if you're looking to come away from this game with anything, they're the things. Chido, a good level performance, maybe gets a goal. Certain players to get a rest, so like Garnacho and Shaw and Dorgu potentially. Ahmad and Bruno to come on and have a bit of an impact will be nice to see. And yeah, just the youngsters to have a good, competent, steady debut. Fredrickson, Amas, Chido, all these players, and hopefully the players around them guide them. That's what I want to see. But I think that team can still compete with Brentford. I know they're in really good form at the minute. But we've still got talented players on there and threats of their own. So let's see how this pans out and how it unfolds. And I'm curious to know what Thomas Frank... I haven't seen any quotes come out from him specifically, but I'm curious to know what he thinks about the rotated side and if he was kind of expecting it. Because the way Amram was going on in the press conference, it was looking like it was going to be, like super, super young. I mean, it is a young team anyway, but I mean, like a super heavily rotated team, and it's not that bad. You've got a nice balance, a nice blend there of experience, or enough experience and youthful talent. So, yeah, very excited for the game. Obviously, we are going to be live post-match, and post-match, it's me, Sam, and Shreyas, I believe. Chivy may join us later on. I'm not entirely sure. I'll drop him a message and see what he's saying. But for now, it's going to be me, Sam, and Shreyas on the post-match review, and that will be live. You already know by now, like 5 minutes straight after the game. So please do come and join us. If you are going to leave us shortly, please. Well, I'm going to leave shortly, so please do leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. I know I'll peck everyone's head at that. But yeah, please do. I'd appreciate it. Punch Paint saying 2-0 United. Obi scores on a breakaway. Manu scores a screamer. Ugarte yellow card. And Bayende clean sheet. That's a very positive Punch. I'll take it. But very, very positive. But yeah, be nice to see you after the game. Enjoy it. Get yourself a beer. Get yourself a scran. Do what you're doing. And I'll speak to you after the game, yeah?